back to Erika's Tea Room. I'm Erika Shanoff, and here's my mom, Lila.
And welcome back to...
It's Not Your Grandmother's Tea Party.
And yeah, that's great, because I don't want you to think of your grandmother when you think of me. Should I wear my little spectacles down here?
Let me show you all the gray hairs.
Oh God, here she goes again.
So many people start by asking us how we got started. And the thing that got us started as a tea room is that we travel to tea rooms. And it's still a passion of ours. We travel to tea rooms every time we leave our own little
Tea room.
our own little tea room.
Because you never get enough of tea rooms, right?
So what we're going to do is we're going to show a signature dish from a tea room that we just visited. Just recently we were in Georgia on vacation and on our buying trip, and we went to a little tea room that did a southern high tea.
Oh, it was lovely.
It was absolutely delicious. And one of their signature things they did was a fried green tomato with pimento cheese on top.
So this is the fried green tomatoes, and of course it's my way. I'm not going to copy her recipe exactly, but that's how she served it. It's a beautiful fried green tomato with pimento cheese on it. We're going to show you my recipe for pimento cheese, and I made it into a crostini because we're all about the
tea sandwiches. So we're calling this our Tea Room Reboot. Every couple of weeks we're going to share a recipe that we tried at a tea room that we visited, and then we're going to show you how we would change it up a little bit to make it a little bit more user-friendly.
our way.
Our way, just
Yes,
our way. Our way, yes, our way.
So guys, this is a green tomato. It's not a tomatillo, it's an actual green tomato, and a green tomato is an unripe tomato.
So that makes it really nice and firm.
Absolutely.
That's why they're so perfect for frying, and that's why you see it
Most
on
of
a
the time
lot
fried.
of fried menus.
But when I made my crostini, because again, if you have visited our tea room, I try to do everything very health conscious. This is a paper thin tomato that I actually put into the oven. So I'm going to do it that way for you. And it's also great because on the crostini I could put a lot of my pimento cheese, and then I could do the garnish on top too.
Yeah. So we love fried green tomatoes. Whenever we are traveling, especially in the South, we always get that when we see it on the menu for an appetizer. We lived in Iowa for a year, and in Illinois, right over the border, there was a restaurant called Fried Green Tomatoes. I don't know where they came to in the middle of the Midwest, but they were the best fried green tomatoes you had ever had. They actually made it almost like eggplant parmesan. They put sauce on it and mozzarella cheese.
And I think that's where I got this from. They made it paper thin. A lot of the places that we do go to make fried green tomatoes thicker. I love them this way because they get soft. Sometimes you have that still the bite of the fried green tomato.
Mom and I are both not tomato lovers to begin with, so we don't eat raw tomatoes. We do eat like ketchup and tomato sauce, but we love cooked tomatoes, and so the green tomatoes, the way she's going to bake them, are almost like a stewed tomato.
Yeah, it really has a very lovely taste. So I'm going to take a baking tin and I'm going to spray it with Bake It Clean, and I've showed you this before. This is a phenomenal product. I just line the bottom of it. I line up my fried green tomatoes, and here I'm not adding any fat to it. And then what I'm going to do is spice it up with my usual
trilogy.
And you saw I did take the end and I put it in. I'm not going to take this top because it has that hard piece. And these tiny little faux pas. Don't waste anything. It's
waste
all
that
good.
whatnot. It's all going to be delicious.
Oh, good. And now I'm going to put my trilogy of spices, which is always onion, garlic, and pepper. I'm going to put some on the top.
Waiter, there is too much pepper.
In my paprika.
Pepper.
So you're going to see I'm just brushing it around. I put a lot of spices. I'm going to turn it over so the spices on both sides. And then I'm going to stick this in a 350-degree oven until it gets nice and cooked, like the soft.
It almost gets that little caramelized, like if we were frying it in a pan or grilling it.
How I made my crostini is I took one of my white Cuban slices that I had during the day, and when I was making my tomatoes, I put a crostini on the side. So I put a little butter on the crostini. All I did was take one of our white bread slices, I put a little butter on it, and I put it on the side of the tomatoes, and it just made it a little toasty and I put a touch of garlic on it.
This way it's not too mushy. When you put the heaviness of the tomatoes on it, it's not gonna fall apart. You want something that's gonna stand up to the weight.
So all of that's really true. And sometimes she's not right, but today she is.
I got it right for a change.
So I'm going to teach you how to make my pimento cheese.
And again, if you're being health conscious, use your favorite wheat bread or whatever you have in the house that you just want to use up.
And if you know from us, we don't believe in just a white bread or these packaged breads. We get special breads like rye bread, pumpernickel, marble, and those are all full grain breads, and we love that. So I'm going to push this aside a little bit, and I'm going to teach you how to make my pimento cheese. Yeah, people really love this cheese because they use a pimento cheese that is very, very spicy.
So if you don't like, so pimentos, to get started, are a type of sweet pepper. Very similar in taste almost to a roasted red pepper.
It's very similar.
But you don't get that char that you sometimes get coming out of a jar. And you can buy these in your local grocery store already pre-chopped.
Yeah, I buy
so
the diced. I buy the diced in the jar because, again, I'm lazy.
Keep it simple, stupid.
I always say, why? It's the same price whether you buy the whole pimentos, the sliced pimentos, or the diced, and I buy the diced.
So the diced are perfect size to make the pimento cheese and not have to do any of the extra little chopping up.
Yes, and I'm always on the run. I'm always doing other things. So I used 1 8-ounce whipped cream cheese. I didn't, it doesn't matter, tempty, whatever flavor you like. In this, because of all the things I'm putting in, you could use a basic whipped cream cheese. You don't have to worry about a brand.
And we're using whips because it's already softened for you. It's much more easy to maneuver with.
So I'm putting my pimentos in, and again,
our trilogy of spices comes out.
Even though I spiced my tomatoes, I'm going to actually spice my pimento cheese as well. So I'm using my garlic, onion, and if you want to know, it's about a teaspoon of each in there.
And again, remember, any recipes that you would like, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we are happy to send you the complete recipe anytime you want. We want to hear from you.
Yes, because then you can tell me what the recipe is, because I don't cook with a recipe.
So I call it the shit around method, and that's not a bad word. The shit around method means a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's all approximations.
So it's not English what she's using. So that is the pimento cheese into the cream cheese. And you see it's a little fine, and how this is much thicker, and this is why. I use a 1/2 cup of, I use the cheddar cheese.
So it gives some different colors. You've got the two, the light and the dark yellow and the white cheddar.
And this makes the best pimento cheese. And it's spreadable.
And do we use mild or do we use sharp?
The triple cheddar is
a mix of all of it, right?
Yes. She's so dumb, it's not funny. But anyhow, this is the tri-blend, because you can use sharp cheddar. Most pimento cheeses do, but I find the tri-blend is very good. So that's what I've been using lately. And overnight, you need to let this sit overnight.
Overnight or overlight?
No, overnight. On my crostini, this is how I did this. I'm gonna do the pimento cheese, and then I will put my green tomato. So I'm gonna take, since I didn't cook those yet, I'm going to put this on here.
And that's a thick or a thin maker. You don't want to be any stingy.
The people say to me, these sandwiches are too big. There's no such thing as a too big sandwich.
I'm a big girl. I can eat a good sandwich.
Yes. So I'm going to take these as if I just made them. Look how nice and soft they are, and put them on my crostini bread.
And we do like them a little bit on the softer side. If you want to keep the firmness, you absolutely can. You can adjust your baking time for your tomatoes.
But it also, it makes it harder to eat if it's hard.
That's true too. So you've got tomato juice flying everywhere.
Okay, so now taste. You see how she was able to bite it? If that tomato wasn't cooked perfectly, she wouldn't have been able to bite it so nicely in a sandwich.
And it's so cute. It kind of looks like you have a pickle there because of the coloring, but it's so nice and soft. The tomato you can bite right through. and you've got layers of garlic and onion because it's on the tomato, it's in the pimento cheese, it's on the crostini. So it's a perfect bite. It's almost got like a savory and sweet because the tomato, because it's underripe, does have a little bit more of a tartness.
Yes,
that comes through.
Because I thought that would make it really well. So the fried green tomato would be harder and harder to eat on a piece of bread. That's why I did it that way. So guys, she's so busy eating again. With this, I want Erika to tell you about a perfectly paired tea, if she could stop chewing for a minute, which is very hard for Erika. So I chose Aztec spice. Because of the spice that we have in all these things, I wanted a spicy tea.
So one of our personal favorite teas, and it's kind of funny how we got this added to our menu. We added this as a very last minute when we opened because we're not a big spice lover to begin with. And the difference between a spice tea and a chai tea, which is a common question, is a spice tea has cinnamon and cumin and nutmeg and coriander and all the traditional spices that you might find like in a pie. But then a chai tea has the addition of black and pink peppercorns. This is Aztec spice. It was a last minute addition to our menu. You can see big pieces of cocoa nibs. This is chocolate and cinnamon and pieces of vanilla bean dried in here. So when you taste it, you taste the chocolate and the vanilla.
And where's the spice?
And where's the spice? And then all of a sudden, you see those really pretty pieces of red? Those are red chili peppers. And it's little pieces of red chili peppers, and all of a sudden you get this pop in the back of your throat, like it's an explosion.
Really heavenly tea.
And it is absolutely amazing. So that is our Aztec spice tea, which complements our savory and sweet and tartness of the tomato and the pimento cheese.
And you see the rich, rich color of this tea. And the funniest thing is two things are funny. One, that she made me a cup of tea. Usually she makes it only for herself. But two,
and usually when I make her a cup of tea, she has hers, and she manages to finish mine before I get to it.
Yes, sure. But it's the truth. You taste the chocolate first. The notes are the chocolate and the flavoring of the vanilla and the vanilla. And then all of a sudden you'll taste that spice, and it's unbelievable. So we had bought this, and this is a lot of people's favorite tea.
Once people taste this, they're a little skeptical at the beginning, and then it becomes an obsession because it's just so
different.
Layers, like with the pimento cheese and the crostini, it's layers of flavor. First you taste the chocolate, then you get the vanilla, and then you get that burst.
And that's why we paired this together. Well,
we always wish you good tea with good scones and good friends. And remember,
memories are made with every cup. See you next week on
This Is Not Your Grandmother's Tea Party.
See you soon.